Hello and welcome to my channel. I've been working on a new frequently asked questions video, volume 5, and this one addresses questions and comments regarding my ham radio pursuits. It is going to be long. I am still editing it down from 94 minutes. It will be just under an hour by the time I'm done, but there are a few little snippets, questions that I think are worthy of standing on their own, including this one. Distracted driving much? We could probably throw in missile hazards and everything else to mix in there. Distractions, missile hazards, safety, or whatever. Look, just because you can see it doesn't mean that it's a distraction for me. I would say that the looky-loos who are jamming up the left lane or riding in my blind spot so that they can photograph my car, and that includes the police, by the way, they're the ones who are distracted driving. I recently watched a podcast where the hosts were discussing operating a radio while in motion, so mobile operation. And although I agreed with the main dissenter, thinking that maybe he can't imagine operating an HF radio without looking at the display, I also agreed with the supporters who said that they could just camp on a frequency and then operate without taking their eyes off the road. For example, I monitor my local repeater here on my ID5100 anytime I'm in the car alone. And what I mean by that is if I have a passenger, they are my priority, not the radio. So I turn the radios off if I've got a passenger, unless that passenger is a ham and wants to hear what's going on out there. I don't find any value in looking at my display when I'm talking to somebody. What's that display going to tell me? If the repeater, and this is FM, so if the repeater is not picket fencing, then I assume that everything is working just fine. And then if the signal is starting to get weak, I assume I'm moving away from the repeater, and then I terminate the QSO. Now, things are a little bit different on HF. I consider HF to be a place where logging is a personal requirement, especially if I'm working during a contest. And so if I'm logging, I don't drive the car and then log while I'm driving the car. I find a space to park and then I operate and run my log. Now, if I happen to get lucky enough to hold a frequency for myself, then what I could do is operate the radio, microphone, eyes on the road, and I've got a digital voice recorder that I can use. Here it is right here. So I've got a digital voice recorder that I can use and just record everything. And then when I do that, I have to make it a point to say the time, so that's captured someplace, and then log it later. I don't really do that very often because I don't like to. Some contests, like the Virginia QSO party, you have to serialize your contacts. So I might have to say in the signal report, Fauquier County 018, to indicate to the person on the other side that I'm in Fauquier County and that they are the 18th person that I've spoken to. And it can be done, I guess, with little thumb wheel counters and things like that, but I don't want to mess with that while I'm driving down the road. So that's me personally. That's where I draw my line. But I do know that some people do it. Sometimes, particularly if I'm on a straight and open highway and nobody else is around, I will press and hold this key here. The microphone has a, can you see that? There you go. Yeah, so up and down keys on it. So if I press and hold, it will initiate a slow scan, throw the microphone in my lap, or maybe just hold it in my hand in my lap and just drive. And I will listen. And if I start to hear somebody call in CQ, I press any button, it stops the scan, and then I can talk to that person. If it is a Parks on the Air activation, and that's what I'm really looking for oftentimes when I do that, the activator is the one running the log, so I just kind of fine-tune with the buttons. I can do that by ear. I call them up, thank them for the QSO, thanks for activating, have a good day, 7-3, whatever, and then they log it. I can just wait until I get home that evening or even a week later and look at my Hunter log to see who uploaded what. And then I can copy that into my regular log. That way I have documentation of the QSO as well. So it's really not that big of a deal.